Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh, we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Va salud! Well, it went a lot better today than it did yesterday. I think whatever was going on the platform has been cleared up, at least. Here's hoping. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Love to hear how your day is going, what you're sipping on. Let me know in the chat. Let me start by saying hi to all of you. Some of you got here a little bit early. First was channel member Karen Owen. Welcome, welcome. Says, love to see R2 on the bar, as long as he doesn't partake. He's the designated X-Wing driver. That's absolutely right. You don't want your designated driver imbibing too strongly, right? At least I don't have to drive. That's the upside for me. Of course, Netters Network. I love you too, my dear. She is actually in the building with me, but she is at work. Having her lunch, I would presume right now. I think she's having a liquid lunch as well. Hope you're having a great one today. Storyman Jack says, hey, I get to catch it today. Well, so glad that you're here. Just gave Storyman Jack a blue wrench so that he could drop a link to his new story for you to check out. Joe's Atmosphere, doing a drive-by like. Hail and salute, my friend. I'll be hanging out with Joe's Atmosphere sometime very, very soon. Talk to you about that in the near future. Mark Melnikoff, Kapla, my brother. How are you, my friend? Do I see trains on the bar for me? Well, we're going to talk about that, my friend. Actually, tonight's topic was at least partially inspired by Mark, conversations that we've been having behind the scenes. We'll get into that in a little bit. Let me finish saying hi to everyone else first. Yeah, and there it is. That's Storyman Jack's new story, Ritual Night, episode 1. It's an original audio fiction, so go check that out. It's on YouTube. And what did Mark have to say here? Out watching trains and this show. Wasn't going to miss this. I am so glad. I was a little concerned because I sent you the Rumble link, and it didn't seem to be starting up at first, but Rumble's a little quirky. When a live stream starts, you gotta like refresh and hit play, and it's I don't know, different platforms. That's all I can say. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me. I got my notes here, so let me start. I was very, very careful in my description below, in the title. I tried to hint at what I'm doing. Look, it's the platform we're on here, right? We can't use normal English. We got to talk in code, like we're behind the Iron Curtain during the Cold War, in order to talk about anything. But that's just the world we live in today, it seems. But so how can I explain the main topic if you guys don't know already? I'm going to be talking about it rhymes with sheriffs, but it starts with a T. Okay. So, those law enforcement guys with the big star on their chest, except, like I said, it starts with a T and not with an SH, because we got to talk in code. Anyway, there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of, let's just call it what it is. It's fake news, right? A lot of people claiming this is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Just like all the people that claim, in 12 years, we're all going to be underwater and, we're going to have an atmosphere like Venus and we're all going to die. And then 12 years later go by. No, we had it wrong. It's really going to freeze and we're all going to be, picking through the ice to get at the fish. Oh, no, wait a minute. We were wrong about that too. And, predictions, right? You know what a theory is? A theory is just something we believe to be true until we have better data. And unfortunately, our educational system has very much failed us because we have theories that are being taught that have been completely debunked by reality, right? So everyone that thinks that they're an economic wizard is telling you what's going to happen, because of these tariffs. These tariffs are going to do this. These tariffs are going to do that. And to some degree, they might be right. In the short term, they might be right. But, you should be looking, especially with economics, you should be looking long term, right? You should be looking what's going to happen, not next week, not next month, but next year, the year after that, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. These things matter. You don't find yourself in a bad circumstance economically because of something that just happened yesterday. It's because of something that happened 30, 40, 50 years ago that is been avalanching over time. So anyway, this comes from and I'm not going to name the YouTube channel. I am not going to be specific because I'm going to be very, very critical, and I don't want to be critical by name. I don't want anyone to go and, spam them with, whatever. I don't want to get into some sort of a pissing match with some other YouTube channel, but this is a hobby related channel. You'll probably be able to figure out at least the area of interest based on what I'm going to be sharing that this person said. But I'm watching this video that Mark sent to me that I was reacting to, and I just decided to grab a segment of it from the transcript and then respond to it. Wasn't going to respond in his chat because it's not the right audience. It's throwing pearls before what's it called? Pearls before swine. It would be completely pointless. But let me get into it. So it's a hobby related channel talking about how the tariffs are affecting the hobby. And basically, he's telling his listeners what to think. I guess to a certain degree, I kind of am too, but I don't think of it that way. I hope that what I'm doing is sharing my opinion and not telling you need to have the same opinion. I'm just saying, listen to what I have to say. Do your own research. You decide if I'm off base or not. That's what I'm getting at. So, okay, I'm gonna say it because he brings it up right in the first thing. He's talking about model trains, and the industry of buying model trains from overseas. He says, you may be wondering why model trains are not made here in America. Yes, I am. There's really 3 reasons. Number 1, there's never been a factory here in America that processes ready to run, high quality, super detailed locomotives and freight cars. Me. Why? This isn't a reason, this is an excuse. Before there were factories in China to produce ready to run, high quality, super detailed locomotives and freight cars, there weren't any there either. But the choice was to outsource to China to take advantage of effectively slave labor. Now the chickens are coming home to roost. Let me pause real quick so that I could bring up this very, very generous super chat from Geek Flag with Nate Knows for $2. Oh, yeah, it's a super sticker. It's a pear character turning around and waving his hand saying, hey, you, while lowering his glasses. That is so cool. Thank you, my friend, for your support. So, second reason. 2, there's no supply chain. We've got to have somewhere to get those electric motors, the metal parts, the wheels, everything you need for the sub-assembly. Me. This isn't another point. This is the same point as above. And my response is exactly the same. Why isn't there a supply chain? Because you chose to create a supply chain in another country rather than here 40, 50, however many years ago. And 3, it's expensive to start a new factory here. We're looking at an investment of over $10 million. Me. Sucks to be you. Too bad you decided to take advantage of all the cheap slave labor over these years, and benefit from circumventing American labor and standard law while building China's infrastructure over our own. Just saying, you could have done it here. You didn't. You did it there. Plus, we're going to be out of production for quite a while. It'll probably take up to a year before we're ready to produce the simplest of freight cars in the Kit Classic line. A rivet counter freight car is probably 2 years away, and a rivet counter locomotive 3 years. We'll be out of business for that whole time frame. Again, sucks to be you. See the above. This is the consequence of the business choices you made. Companies go out of business every day because they make bad choices. Just ask Bud Light, Target, and Walgreens how they're feeling about their management over the past few years. Now, I'm not using them as examples of companies that have gone out of business, but I am using them as examples of companies that are seriously and drastically hurting in their bottom line because of decisions over the past couple of years. What will it do to pricing? A locomotive today that sells for around $300, you're going to see that be in the $900 to $1,000 range if you're not willing to pay the tariff prices. Most folks aren't going to be willing to pay made in America prices. Here's where we get into the title today. What's it worth to you? If you're not willing to pay American prices, and you're sad because you can't benefit from the indentured servitude and forced labor of children in another country, then maybe you don't really need that luxury item. And let's be clear, these are luxury items. not necessities. Well, then, why don't we go somewhere else? Well, kind of the same reason. There's no factory ready to accept what we need, ready to run super detailed, high quality products. And there's no supply chain ready to go anywhere else. And there's that investment in a new factory. With tariffs, the money's just not there to make the investment today. And kind of my same response. You made your choice. Now the situation has changed and you have to move or go out of business. Sucks to be you. Same thing would have happened if we went to war with China. And don't be mistaken, we effectively are at war with China. And let's say the plant was bombed. So here's your opportunity. Be an entrepreneur. Seek out some U.S. tax incentives and maybe ask for some grants. Invest in American industry and start building that infrastructure here. And if model trains don't make it worthwhile, then expand it and make other things as well here in America, which will always be tariff proof and never subject to the winds of foreign relations. And if that's too difficult, too much money, too much risk, well, too bad. You made your choices, and this is where you are now. And although I'm directing that at a specific, company that makes model trains out of China, I'm kind of saying that to all businesses. It's particularly focusing today on our hobbies, right? Hasbro as a company and their toys. They've already come out. Their toys, their games, Dungeons and Dragons, all that stuff. They've already come out and said prices are going to go up because of these tariffs. And everyone's looking at them going, bullcrap. Your prices have been going up and getting ridiculous before the tariffs. You're just using the tariffs as an excuse now. And why are you making it over there and not here? Again, your own fault, your own problem. Mark says, that's actually a lie. There were factories here. Anthern, model die casting, and more. Exactly true. The infrastructure had been here. See, that's an excellent point that I hadn't considered. There was a time before. Keep in mind, when we're talking model trains like the ones that Mark collects and builds and so forth, those are American locomotives. They're not in China chugging around. They're here in the United States going coast to coast, or historically were, depending on what train we're talking about. Why would China have an infrastructure built around making model trains of American trains? They were here. This thing started here by artisans here in the United States. And then they said, hey, it's getting real expensive here because we got to pay minimum wage. We've got to pay labor costs. There's the Teamsters to deal with. You know what? Let's just go to China and make it for pennies on the dollar. Meanwhile, over in China, where they have these little bitty tiny screws being put into little tiny, you know what it takes to put those little tiny screws in? Well, you need machines and or you need little tiny hands. Child labor. We got laws against child labor, but it's okay if a kid over in China is working in a sweatshop for pennies a day to make your model train for you. You know, there's a lot of people that get all up in arms about reparations and the history and imperialism and all this kind of stuff. But don't take away my cheap crap from overseas. You know, that's un-American. Oh, really? So you're telling me you'd have been on the side of the Confederacy during the Civil War? Just saying. Yeah, I'm putting it that way. If you are against these tariffs and what they stand for and how they impact you, you would have been on the side of the Confederacy during the Civil War. Yeah. You brought up Budweiser. I work in the adult beverage business. That's right, you do. Well, I mean, you know you do, but I am realizing that was true. I had forgotten that fact. And there's a rumor flooding around here within the industry that Budweiser may be discontinuing Bud Light because its sales have tanked. Yeah, Yeah, there's no way. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nate. I believe that Budweiser is owned by some German company or something. I can't remember what. I mean, they're not going to go out of business. But yeah, Bud Light as a brand name is going to die. Congratulations. It's going to put all those Clydesdales out of work, and that really sucks. Wow, never thought about it before. I got one for Christmas, and I loved it for years. Yeah, I had a Lionel train. I don't think I've ever even shared this with Mark, because it wasn't a big part of my my childhood. But I had a Lionel train set when I was a kid. But it was like in the 60s and 70s when they started, you know, you'd see made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Vietnam, because cheap labor. Let's see. I don't want to miss your comments. You guys are bringing up some great stuff. I will say this here. You were right. Looking through my collection, these trains may have a big markup. I have 3 I bought for $99 on sale. MSRP was $300. Yeah, that was something else that Mark was saying. This is how he's combating the whole tariff and pricing situation. He's just buying on eBay secondhand. And he's buying a lot of crafted items, you know, 3D printed and stuff like that, which is in a way a kind of bringing the industry back. Just, you know, maybe it's not the best. It's maybe not as good as Tool and Die, but, you know, it is made in America. Real quick, let's say hi to Gorilla Censored Thoughts. Kapla. Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf. Hi. Good to see you, my friend. Super excited for the interview on May 17th. Oh, that's right. So Charlotte is going to be on Netter's Network. I don't know if she's... I would have to look at my calendar. Netter can say better. I believe Netter's going to be pre-recording an interview with Charlotte. And I don't know if that, you know, is being recorded on the 17th, if it's being broadcast on the 17th. But am looking forward to that interview. That is going to be a lot of fun. Wait. No one realizes when this started about 20 years ago, there was one big contract factory called Sandakan that made trains for every company here. They split up a few years ago. That's interesting. It's a Belgian company. Okay. Yeah. Anheuser-Busch. Yes. I was trying to remember that, and I couldn't remember. But Budweiser, oh, welcome, Big Al. Owned by Anheuser-Busch, the world's largest brewer. Yeah, they're not going to be going out of business. They're just going to say, yeah, okay, that old Bud Light thing, yeah, that was a screw up, and heads have rolled because of that. So Netter is explaining that will be pre-recorded on the 17th, and I'll play it the following Thursday, whatever date that is. So yes, very excited about that. I'm sure I'll be involved in it, at least on the technical side. Very much looking forward to that. Anyway, so this doesn't impact me as far as trains go, but I've been talking about this regarding Hasbro and so on and so forth. Hasbro is a whole microcosm of the problem, really, because their shipping, their whole shipping model is a mess. You know, they make stuff and it's not just they make it in China, Taiwan. I don't know what all countries they make them in, and then from there they ship them out, you know, around the world. For the longest time, you could only get a lot of this stuff in the continental United States, and you know, the poor Aussies were out of luck if they wanted their, you know, HasLab barge or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. You know, what gets me is we have a lot of people in this country, and you know, this is the political side of it, where you have people that are constantly saying, you know, tax the rich, make the rich pay their fair share. Guess what, folks? exactly what these tariffs are. If you're one of those guys that, and I say guys in general, that includes all the genders, okay, not just men, okay? If you're one of those people, if you don't identify as a people, I can't help you. If you're one of those people that always votes for the party with a D, right? And you believe in redistribution of wealth, and the rich aren't paying their fair share, and these evil corporations. I'm sorry, it's no, you're in the wrong party, because it really has become, I don't know if it always was, but in my lifetime, the core, not the neocons, not the deep state, but the core of the conservative movement in this country is working class people, and they support protecting American labor, protecting American jobs, protecting American industry, right? And not sending our money outside the country. Who benefits? Cui bono, right? Cui bono. They always say follow the money. It means who benefits. Who benefits when they take your train company, your toy company, your board game company, and they make this stuff for cheap in another country? You do a little bit because you get it cheaper, but the real money is being made by Hasbro and by the train companies and all the big companies that have decided to make things cheap overseas. It is cheaper for them to do it overseas, and they keep that profit. Their profit margin, let's not be mistaken, their profit margin isn't like razor thin, right? They are receiving 3, 4, 5 times what it costs to make and ship these things. Remember, they don't ship it, you do. They are charging you to ship it, whether it's from the next town over or from China. You're paying for it. That's in the price. That's in your shipping. And then a tariff comes along, and they're going to pass that along to you too. Guys, remember, these are luxury items. I hate to say it, tax the rich. As far as they're concerned, you are the rich. You are the ones that aren't paying your fair share. That's what they think. And that's why they want you to suffer. When you think luxury items, you think expensive champagne from France, right? You think, I don't know, some kinds of Belgian chocolates that are imported, and, all these things that the average person's like, I don't really need that stuff. I don't even like that stuff that much, right? Well, you have your own luxury products, whether it's the toys, the tchotchkes, the cheap disposable, stuff that we're importing. I didn't bring up the comment here, but Mark said, because he works in retail, says it'll be interesting for him to see what the Christmas market looks like when all the cheap Christmas stuff made in China isn't showing up on the shelves. Maybe we either need to buy American, or maybe start thinking about how we decorate for Christmas. Maybe start stringing together some popcorn to put on the tree, like our grandparents did. Largest brewery in the U.S., both in terms of production and sales, is DG. I'm going to butcher this. Youngling and Son, based in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Youngling is also the oldest operating brewery in the U.S. That's good to know. I just recently realized that I think it was Hellman's. Hellman's is a Canadian company, and I found one that was based here in the Midwest, right there on the shelf, right next to it. It was like 10 cents more. I'm like, I'm gonna start getting that one from now on. And I'm going to watch to see if Hellman's pops up in price because of the tariffs. But yeah, I'm going to start buying American. Remember, see, again, some of you might be younger, some of you might be closer to my age, but they used to have a big push. Who was it that pushed it? It was, of course, the labor And unions, look for the union label, buy American. There were commercials for that. Actually, some of those are on YouTube right now. Look for the union label. There was a reason for that. Look, let me put it to you in another way. Let's say you need to go get your hair done, right? I don't. I never will again. But some of y'all maybe still go get haircuts or get your hair done. And let's say your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law owns a shop. You're probably going to go to them, you would think, right? But then there's this guy whose brother-in-law, has a barbershop or a beauty shop and doesn't go to them because they could go to Supercuts and get it done for less than half the price. And you look at him and you go, well, first, your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law does way better work. They're giving you this cookie cutter hairstyle that sucks. And they're family. You're going to go support them? Yeah, it's cheaper. Well, you're kind of an asshole then, aren't you? Well, guess what? Same thing if you're sending money to literally our economic enemies and you're getting all bent out of shape about the tariffs. Just saying, What I resent the most is the whole pre-order model. I'm glad you brought that up. I did want to get to that. I miss the days when you walked into a hobby shop and they had every model of train companies made, and it was not if not, they could order it directly. Yes, exactly. So let me tell you a little bit about that pre-order model. I don't care if you call it pre-order or if you call it a crowdfund. Hasbro has both. They have their HasLab, where they're like, well, if we get enough people to order this thing, we'll make it. And then they, sell you on this big, very expensive, but you got to come up with it in the next 30 days. Otherwise, we're not going to do it. So fear of losing out, people go and they hand over their money. Pre-order, kind of the same thing. They're already going to do it. They're not going to wait for, to see if they got enough interest. They know they have the interest. They're already in the process of making it, but they get you to give them money. And yes, it tells them how much they should make, but they also get to sit on your money. They have it in their pocket while you're just sitting there waiting, $20, $30, $40 less in your pocket, waiting on your tchotchke. Meanwhile, they're taking your $40 and your $40 and your $40, putting it in the bank and investing it and collecting interest. The rich get richer, right? The rich not paying their fair share, and you enable them by doing that. You do. You allow it. And then they look and they go, well, look at all the people that bought this. Next time we do this, let's raise the price. They'll pay it. And you do. And you do. The DNC is clearly the party of the elite, and I'm someone who is independent saying that. Yeah. When you say the party of the rich, who is the party of the rich? Everyone wants to say it's the Republicans, right? And I've come to realize that's another one of those theories. It's a theory that they keep saying that they believe because they believe it's about prosperity and business and, lower taxes and all this kind of stuff. But when you really think about it, is that the party of the rich? No, that's the party of the working class. Lower taxes, lower prices, better business so that we all get a job, so that we all can pay our way, right? So that we don't have to worry about what happens when we go to war with this other country, or this country goes to war with that country and it disrupts the supply chains, or we get the sniffles and we get locked down and we can't have anything come into our country. This would be a very different conversation if this was 6, 7, 8 years ago. But in the past 5 years, people have realized we're kind of screwed if we're relying on other countries, right? You know, you have the tree huggers talking about sustainability. Sustainability. We got to be sustainable. Sustainable energy, sustainable resources. Well, guess what? The resources that you need to live, the food, the clothing, the building products, you want that to be sustainable too. You know how you make it sustainable? Make it locally. Make it locally. Buy locally. Suffer? Nope. Like everything else, I repair my own locomotives. I make enough spare parts. I don't have to rely on any of these places at this point. I do say support your local hobby shop. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say. Going back to, we now are in an era where people aren't going to local brick and mortar shops. They're doing all their shopping online. There's pros and cons to that. You miss out on the opportunity to go and window shop. You know, there is value in that. But on the other hand, you can find literally anything you're looking for. And this is what I had said, the best of both worlds is when you have a brick and mortar store, like Mark was talking about earlier, we don't have it, but we can get it for you. We'll have it for you next week. And they get online and they get it shipped to them and sell it to you. And there's no excuse if they're a big chain and can't do that. If they can't, and this is what I've constantly said about Toys R Us. This was the downfall of Toys R Us. Toys R Us was brick and mortar, and you'd go into the store and you'd be looking for that video game, you'd be looking for that toy, whatever. Sorry, we don't have it. Is there another Toys R Us I can go to? I don't know. We don't have the ability to see what's going on at other Toys R Us's. You don't? Well, I'll go online and look. Oh, wait a minute. That's because Toys R Us doesn't have any kind of an online store. Okay, I'll just go to Amazon. And everybody did that. And where's Toys R Us today? You know, they didn't want to make the investment in their infrastructure, and now it's gone. And a lot of these companies are going to be seeing the same thing happen to them. Yes, labor will cost more here, but the labor is paid to American, wages go up, everything balances out. That's exactly right. This is what economists used to call priming the pump, right? This is, again, yes, it costs more because you're paying, you know, this is the thing. What is the point of labor laws? What is the point of your desire for a higher minimum wage, a living wage, a living wage, a living wage? There's no living wage if you don't have a job. If you raise the living wage so high that the companies go, I'll just go outside the country, you know? Now you have no job at all, and the prices have gone up, and congratulations, you just priced yourself out of the market. You know, it is a different kind of modern slavery, right? It's, you're enabling slavery in other countries, but you also become the slave to this corporatism. And welcome. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. So it's a Brand on Looney Tunes Fan 2000. Haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you. Glad you could stop by. Duke's Mayonnaise. Yes, that's what it is. Gosh, did I tell you about this before, Big Al? But that was your brand choice. Yeah. Maybe you were the one who told me about it. I think you were the one that told me about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's right there on my grocery shelf. I can just go pick that up." The CEOs of these big companies who are complaining about the tariffs, all the senior staff of CEO down to management took a pay cut. If they did, they could absorb the tariffs without raising prices. There you go. There you go. And that's really what they should be doing. Because if you want to preserve your business model and you want to keep doing business in those countries, you go, you know what? I'm going to have to tighten our belts a little bit. Keep prices the same, because if we keep prices the same and nobody else does, people will come to us and keep buying from us. It's always that kind of a tightrope that you play. You know? It's always that tightrope. Problem 2, with limited production and pre-orders. Guess what happens if you didn't make spare parts if something breaks or fails? Was told a 20-year-old unit with a lifetime guarantee has no service. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Is this too early for me to be drinking my winter jack? No, this is liquid lunch. Have whatever beverage, adult or otherwise, you wish. You can have a martini, or you can have a Shirley Temple, or you can have a Shirley Temple Black. Whatever you want. Duke's mayonnaise is delicious. It's probably the best on the market. Yeah, absolutely. And why am I buying mayonnaise at all instead of making it myself? Because I'm a dumbass and I cannot figure out how to do an emulsification. I can't. I just can't. I can't make mayonnaise. I can't make eggs Benedict. I can't make anything that involves an emulsification. Hell, I can't even make a decent custard. I try. I never make it right. I even tried, I found a recipe online, foolproof mayonnaise recipe. Guess what? I can't make foolproof. I'm too big a fool to make foolproof mayonnaise. So I have to buy it. She says, yay, drinking now. Woo. Yeah, you can tell whomever you have to tell. Look, Troy said it was okay. I don't know how much weight that'll carry, but there you go. This is afternoon delight for me. Love this being midday. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Mark. Yeah, I'm glad you're able to make it. I'll teach you how to bake sweets one of these days. Well, for the most part, I'm pretty good at baking. I'm pretty good at most cooking. I even have a Klingon cooking show. Well, not show. I haven't done it. I've done like 1 or 2 episodes of it. I got to get back to that. But I do pretty good cooking. I just can't do an emulsification. I even what is it? I mean, I've been able to do like meringues, and I've been able to do what is that? Like eggnog, where you got to fold the egg whites in and stuff. Been able to do those pretty well, but I can't do an emulsification. I'm just, of course, I failed chemistry too, so I mean that might have something to do with it. Anyway, getting off topic here. Oh yeah. I actually, yes, I still have free, and I may never get it to you. I may not get it to you guys before next Christmas. I have fruitcakes from last Christmas. Still basing them in brandy. If you ever get these things, my gosh, you will be schnockered from the first bite, or you can stick a candle in it and light it, and it'll burn for hours. Just that's how it goes. Troy's Table, your cooking show name. There you go. I have on the Klingon channel, Kartan the Klingon Cleric. Haven't done anything with the channel. Maybe I'll start again. But I've got a couple of episodes of Eshoj, which means good food in Klingon. It's a riff on good eats, and the most popular video over there is a recipe I did for GEEK. It's actually really good. Marcus told me it's really, really good. Troy's fruitcake is awesome. Yes, we did send one to Big Al. He likes it. That's one that came from the recipe for that came from Good Eats, Alton Brown. So there you go. Deleted scenes. Good to see you. You'll catch the replay. That's perfectly fine. And we'll be hanging out with Deleted Scenes in a couple hours on live from Sparkwood in 21, where we'll be watching David Lynch and Angelo Badalamenti's Industrial Symphony No. 1. Oh, thank you so much, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. I'm joining you this afternoon with a little Kentucky Gentleman. There you go. And a wee dram of cold water. Never ice. Never ice. Yes. In fact, what you should really be doing is if you like your bourbon, your whiskey, cold, just keep it in the freezer. It doesn't freeze, and it's ice cold. You don't need to add anything to it. You don't want to water it down. And keep the glass in the freezer too. It'll be nice and frosty. Carton makes the best gah in the quadrant. I thank you so much for that. So, before we finish up, I did have a couple things that I wanted to bring up. For example, let's shrink my face. You're tired of looking at my face anyway. So the tariffs are coming to the movie industry as well. Trump called for movie tariffs. Newsom proposes a tax credit instead. So, guys, whether you like him or not, you got to at least understand him before you make that judgment. And in case you haven't realized it, Trump says a lot of very boisterous things. And he oftentimes isn't really genuinely serious, right? When he proposes 100%, 200%, 300% tariffs, it's a shot across the bow. It's a warning. It's telling you, I know what's in my arsenal. I know what I can do, right? And you see it every day. Everyone gets bent out of shape. Oh, he's telling other countries what to do, blah, 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 blah. And they come out strong. Oh, if Trump does this, then we'll do this. And then 24 hours later, they're coming to the negotiation table. Every single friggin' time. So here you see it in real time. Trump comes out and says, we're going to put a tariff on any Hollywood production made outside the United States. Gavin Newsom says, hey, how about maybe tax credits instead? Now, that's negotiation. Trump goes, well, maybe both. Let's work on this. Let's sit and talk about it. And what it's really going to come down to is Newsom. Maybe you need to talk to the industry that is fleeing your state. Okay? You know, I'm hearing interviews with some big name stars talking about it's literally cheaper for the production companies to take the actors and everyone, take them to other countries, put them up in other countries, pay them a premium price for being in another country away from home to make the thing than it is to make it right here in California. And they're looking at the tax incentives and saying, this is a problem. Now, Newsom is looking to the federal government for tax incentives. I bet you what the administration is going to say to him is, yeah, tax incentives would be a good idea, Gavin. Why don't you make that happen, Gavin? In your state, Gavin. Georgia is at capacity right now. They have built up their filming industry in Georgia, and they're making as much as they possibly can. They're expanding. There's more production companies going into Georgia and into Texas and into other states because they give tax incentives in those states. You know? And I think what's ultimately going to happen is that you're eventually going to see the industry turning around. You know who else is in favor of this? I didn't grab an article about this, but the Teamsters came out today and said, yeah, we're 100% behind this. We don't care if it's Republican or Democrat. Anything that's good for American workers is good for American workers. And we're behind that. Shocker. So guess what? If you've always voted Democrat because you're a labor person, because you are a union person, the unions, the Teamsters, they all supported Trump in this last election. Go back and check. And now they're supporting him on this tariff thing. Just saying. And all of these Hollywood celebrities coming out and going after Newsom, they're not coming out in favor of Trump, but they are saying they agree with these tariffs. They may be begrudging because it is coming from Trump. These are not righties. These are not people who would vote for Trump. But it's going to help them. Nonetheless, this could save Hollywood if they let it. And we've got other articles that I could bring up where they're speculating. This may not be constitutional. I mean, he may not have the right to do this. Really? Because if this works out for you and you decide he can't do it, well, you're going to screw yourself. I think a lot of people are okay with that because, anything that hurts Trump, they're happy about. Not my special cookies. Just kidding. My cookies are special, but not that kind of special. Yeah, there you go. Mark says, TTT, it's Trump tariff train is coming. There you go. I have to go. Take care, Storyman. But before I do, please check out my newest story. He's dropping that link again. Yes, please go check out Ritual Night. It's on YouTube. Costs you nothing. Go ahead and check that out. 100% tariff on movies. It is it negotiation tactics because other countries need the United States to buy their movies, even if they're straight to DVD. Yeah. So here's the other thing I want to point out. Anyone who's telling you, well, this plan won't work, here's how you respond to them. What plan? Because it's just pie in the sky suggestion right now. There is no plan laid out yet by the administration for you to start picking apart. It may not even be tariffs per se. It could be tax incentives. It could be, any number of other things that, yes, he absolutely can do. And yeah, changing the environment so that, if I want to film Gotham City, I don't want to have to go to Budapest to film it, or to Canada to film it. Yes, some scenes were filmed in Chicago, but what if we were to film all the scenes in Chicago? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's cost prohibitive to go to Chicago because they tax the crap out of you. And all the prices go up when a movie is filming. And, I also got to worry about getting shot while I'm filming. So, again, build the infrastructure. It's like, well, we can't do that here. Yes, you can. Start now. Change your tax rates. Clean up the crime. Do what you need to do to make it happen. Because you're losing money if you don't. You can't afford not to. Yes, it's a big investment, but you can't afford not to. Any American movie shown in another country, the company only receives less than 15% of the ticket sales from that country. China, even less. So he's trying to negotiate better deals for Hollywood. Yeah. I've been saying all along, your foreign market is, you're giving money away. I mean, any profit you make from overseas is should not be what you're relying on. It should be gravy. That's why making a movie for China, to not offend China, to, downplay the American aspects, is stupid. It's stupid. You make for your core audience, and if you can make additional money on other audiences, so much the better. But that's the same problem with all the modern audience stuff. They're destroying their franchises because they're losing their core demographic, their audience, in favor of another audience that isn't coming to the theaters. It's completely bass backwards. So when I say this is combating bad decisions by bad companies, it's still happening. It's why? Oh, because I'm not sharing anymore. Give me a second. Let me bring it up again. Here, share. So, this is from CNN Business. Businesses have found a strange but legal way to avoid Trump's tariffs. They're doing it again, people. He's literally doing something to help American business, and they're looking for a way to circumvent it because the companies want to continue to they circumvent minimum wage, they circumvent labor laws, they circumvent unions, And now they're going to try to circumvent the tariffs. They will circumvent everything they can. You want to tax the rich? This is the problem. And these are the businesses you have to go after. And you have so much more power than you realize. If you see a company doing this and you're buying a product from them, stop buying from them. You hold the cards. Stop buying from them. Because here's the other thing. Your model trains and your Star Wars action figures and all the other things coming from other countries, only in America are they being sold. Well, I should say only in the West, right? There's Canadians who buy them. There's people in Australia who buy them, UK, right? But they're not being bought by people in China. China doesn't want the crap they're making. They're making it because you are buying it. Yeah. So that's my soapbox for today. And Mark makes a great point. A great stream. Glad I had a hand in getting this one started. I knew something would happen when I sent you that video. Yeah. And you also see why I didn't bother. Because I went and I read the comments and everyone's like, oh no. And all that evil Trump. And it's like, you people are morons. You really, really are. So I also sent Mark and he's watching on YouTube, which I'm surprised because I sent him the link to the Rumble stream of this, because I don't know what YouTube's going to do to this stream. I don't know if this will still be here tomorrow, but it will still be up on Rumble because Rumble is the free speech platform. I want to thank you guys so much. After you leave here, I'm sending you over to, at least I think I am. I think I set it up to send you to a WDW Pro video that is on this topic. It's Culture Casino had a really good. This is on the. This is actually. I guess this isn't forwarding you to where I wanted it to. I'm sorry. We'll see if it forwards you or not. My intent was to forward you to a WDW Pro video where Culture is talking about this whole tariff on Hollywood situation. If it doesn't send you there, the link is below if you are at all interested. It did inform me a little bit for this, and it's a good channel. So definitely subscribe while you're there. Also, later tonight, of course, as I said, we'll be over with Deleted Scenes for his live from Sparkwood in 21. We'll be watching the David Lynch and Angelo Badalamenti's Industrial Symphony No. 1. And we'll be talking about the music in the air of Twin Peaks, followed by the resolution to our cliffhanger, our mid-series cliffhanger of Blake 7 later tonight. Anyway, I want to thank you guys all so much for having your liquid lunch with me today, putting up with my rant. Don't know what we'll talk about tomorrow, but it'll be another good liquid lunch. You guys take care. See you on the next one. Salute.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high